Welcome Aries to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 1st of April 2024 for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. The week begins in some ways with the potential for some bright energy with the Moon angling so positively to Mercury. But of course Mercury's been in its pre-retrograde shadow over the last week, and although it was forging a magical alliance to Neptune, giving you a chance to blend your thinking with your intuition, ironically Neptune forges a really tough right angle to the Moon at the start of this week. If there is any undercurrents in your situation, or people you're not quite sure of, or there are trust issues, or someone doesn't feel quite as connected to you as they have been in the past, there could be a tendency for you to be quite anxious about that, because what the Moon in the sign of Sagittarius can do in a square with Neptune in Pisces is amplify the sensitivities, amplify the subconscious. So you could have some very powerful and potent dreams this week. But that 12th house energy also includes your ruler Mars, which moved into the sign of Pisces last week and is going to be an important player later this week. But the other thing to share with you with the event chart on the screen is the position of Venus and the part of fortune. They are influenced by the Moon as well, but that's a very strong connection. If there is someone that you've been getting to know and you're feeling a very good vibe about it, it doesn't have to be in a romantic context, and perhaps it's someone that you've got more of a sensory feeling is good for you. By the middle of the week, as Venus moves forwards and connects with Neptune, if you did meet up, it could be something that really gave you both a massive sense of connection. But for sure, if you are somebody who's been working behind the scenes for a very long time, perhaps in a big organisation, perhaps in a hospital, perhaps you are a psychic, a therapeutic healer, this can be a very important week, but it's also going to be a very important week for your boundaries. Because by Friday, Venus moves forward into the exciting sign of Aries, where it's going to be through to the 29th. This can help you to give yourself a flamboyant makeover. Even if you're someone who is a dedicated follower of fashion, a few modifications can actually give you a reboot, one that really can boost your confidence in a significant way. But Venus also links to Pluto in the part of your situation to do with your friendships and future. Are you in a relationship or a friendship where you can see you being connected for the long term? If you are, you're likely to be able to celebrate this hugely, and there may be someone who's becoming more and more important. But you know, the converse can be true, not because necessarily somebody's done anything wrong. It may be that you just don't feel that karmic connection, which can be very important with Pluto. Or if you feel that you want to go in a different direction around a creative interest and a friend doesn't quite get it. Also on the 5th, the Sun applies to the retreating North Node. For the first time in since 2006 in your sign, but this is a wonderful chance for you to get a firmer grip on what's important to you. The North Node can be called the point of destiny. It's certainly something that influences us all, but it's at this juncture for you, really asking you to think back over that last period of years, right through to 2006, and think about what you've achieved. It's possible that in a creative sense you have done incredibly well. But if you feel you have been giving your power away somewhat, as the Sun also applies to Chiron at the end of this week, before becoming exact on the total solar eclipse in your sign at the start of next week, all of this energy is asking you to think about, are you being distracted by supporting other people rather too much, being caught up in relationships where people are not quite as invested in you as you'd like them to be? Are you being too much of a carer in certain situations? Are you fracturing your vitality in some ways by being distracted away from what's really important? Have you been spending quite a lot of time feeling rather withdrawn, or perhaps feeling rather tender and emotional? It wouldn't be a surprise. And remember, I mentioned Mars at the start of this forecast. Mars applies to Saturn at the end of this week, and with Mercury going retrograde from Monday, it may be that the combination of those two influences is going to see you decide to take a much stronger line with something that hasn't been honouring you. Now, it may be down to you, it may be totally down to your own decision making, but if it is something where someone else has not been supporting you as much as they could be, you could find yourself being very determined to take a much firmer line as this week comes to a close, and that could mean certain people are rooted out of your situation, or you apply for a new job, or you start your own business, because the next 6 months is going to be one of the most exciting periods you have ever experienced. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Aries. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and if you've yet to do so, please like, comment, share, or subscribe.